We shall rank Trapjaw's origins starting with number 4. The Menace of Trapjaw, 1982. Now, this shows Trapjaw in that now famous bright toothpaste green, or that faded yellowish green color, complexion. Skeletor tries to go into Castle Grayskull. He tries to go through another dimension, through a wormhole in space, so bending space and time, and he runs into an outlaw named Trapjaw. It's fine. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's just it. At the time, we accepted this origin. This was the first origin, but it was just like, well, whatever it was. It was another guy from another dimension. Coming in at number 3, Cronus from 2021. This is the 3D cartoon from Netflix. Now, Cronus worked for the king. Okay, so he was working for the king, being an engineer, and then he got fired, or he didn't like his poor compensation for working for King Randor. So he got kicked out of Eternos, or he left of his own free will. I forget. He got into a fight with the powered man at arms, and I think I have him somewhere here. Oh, he's over there. You can see him way over there. So there's Man at Arms, right? The new Man at Arms. That's 3D Man at Arms. So he got his jaw broken. So that's his jaw, right? But with Skeletor's Havoc Staff, he becomes Trapjaw. So there's Trapjaw right there. So that's the origin. I thought it was kind of cool that Skeletor's Havoc Staff turned here slightly corrupt bad guys into all-powerful villains, all-powerful evil warriors. So you can see the different versions. That is the number 3. I thought it was fine. It really made Trapjaw look. He's got these like shark-like teeth, right? He's got layers and layers and rows of teeth, like a shark. And there's the prototype Man at Arms. Coming in at number 2. Now this is from Origins of Eternia, 2014. Cronus was a lowly peasant worker. He didn't mind doing, he did odd jobs, whatever, but one day he wanted to make a lot of money, and people betrayed him. At some point, he runs into He-Man. Now, this is when He-Man was already in power, so he gets his jaw knocked off when He-Man throws the gun. He-Man's the Superman of Eternia, right? And so he loses his jaw, and he gets rebuilt. And at some point he becomes, this is the Eye of Chrono, or it has to do with Castle Grayskull. Okay, so he confronts Skeletor, and he wants Skeletor to put a hit on somebody. So there's Evil Lyn. There's a whole other story with that. It's a very adult, I would say it's a rated R kind of thing, PG-13 to rated R. But here we got the new look. There is Trapjaw, which is very, very. This is by Rob David, so the whole spinning teeth that carried over to the 3D cartoon. So Cronus becomes Trapjaw because of what He-Man did, and so he goes to Skeletor to become part of his group. And fabulous number 1. What is the best origin of Trapjaw? If you've been following my channel for a while, you know what that is. So this involves Cronus from Origins from 2002 and Keldor. They stormed the castles of the Elders for Hordak's sake, right? But there's Keldor, there's Cronus. Things did not work out, and Keldor became Skeletor, right? Now, Skeletor is Skeletor, and Cronus is still Cronus. We go back to the Icons of Evil. Cronus says he's not a good leader anymore. Throws him out of he zaps him and throws him out of the. So they're no longer friends. He doesn't even know him as Keldor anymore. Keldor and Cronus used to be good buddies. And he says, "You haven't seen the last of me, Skeletor." So he forms an army, much like Alexander the Great, but far wretched than Alexander the Great. He forms armies and wins wars. And so they say, well, what's next? What's next? So they conquered all these people. He gets all this army. It is a goal that will soon conquest onward. Conquest lies ahead. So what's next? I like this large sort of splash interior. So they say, "Why do you worry about my business? I will decide what to know, what you need to know, and when. Our strength is unmatched. Our army is unbeatable. There's only one place left for us to conquer." And so what happens is they get to Snake Mountain. Attack! Right? Because he's just a thug. And Skeletor can prove that this was a waste of time. And it's like, move, So Skeletor I waited a long time. I never known. You're the first person I met who looks so forward to death. So not only does Skeletor burn him, okay, he burns his face, right? You can try, and then he just zaps off his arm. And then, much like what happens to Skeletor later on in the comic books by He-Man, Skeletor punches him in the jaw. So he loses his jaw. So now he doesn't have a jaw, he doesn't have an arm, and his face is burned. And so you take him to Triclops to fix him up. And Evil Lynn had some respect. How could you come back after what he did to you? So she had respect for him because he had left, but he chose this over death. Well, he becomes Trapjaw. This is the origin. Skeletor beats the shit out of him, and that to me is the origin of Cronus to Trapjaw. I would say it edges out over the 2014 comic. The other one is more of a magical thing that happens, and the original mini comic sucked, but that was the way they just wrote it. But at least if you watch those cartoons, the 3D cartoons, you now understand Cronus and Trapjaw much more because Revelation wasn't going to show it. And that's how I rank it. Good journey.